So welcome, KZOOMers. So happy to be together at this amazing time of tshuva, of return. And it was another different kind of Rosh Hashanah 2 years. And it feels as though the outer world is sending us inward, that there is a journey to be had, that is more of an inward journey. I am, a great traveler. I wrote a book about traveling, and then I realized, the real travel is that journey inward, and it's frustrating, and yet I know that there is this opportunity here for us to travel to places together, to support each other on that journey towards wholeness. And really that's the theme of this week's Love at the Center practice. In the text, when we're at the end of chapter 8, in this text,
All those sweet smiling faces.
the brothers who are really kind of like, they represent a little bit of the difficulty on the path of love, because we don't quite see eye to eye with those brothers just yet. And they kind of come to the lover, to their sister. They don't quite see her yet in her power, and yet she knows, she has begun to know herself. She has stepped on to the path of love, and she has a kind of a prophecy that she says, but for my lover, which is this world, for my lover, this world, I will be. And the translation that I love is the one that says, I will be a city of peace. I will be a city of peace. I will be as one who has found peace. I will become a refuge for others because I have found that peace. And that's kind of the journey that we're on. And the peace starts, of course, inside. Used to lead retreats a lot, and remember those days of leading retreats. And often we would start at the beginning of the retreat, and I would say, what is the quality, what is the midah that you really want to call in this week of the retreat? And inevitably there would be someone who would say, inner peace. And I would look at them with some pity, because I knew that they were headed to a wild ride, because whatever quality you ask for, you will be given. All of the obstacles to that quality will arise, and
to be cleared,
to show you the work.
But in your
And
face.
I would always watch that person's journey be, very tumultuous, because that's the work. We're finding our way to peace. And one of the teachings from Eckhart Tolle, is that his name, Eckhart Tolle? Mm-hmm. He says you find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. And that process of realization is sometimes rough, because what we find are kind of layers of I think of it as the fortifications of self that we have built up. And to realize who we really are, we have to get to the core and kind of clear away some of those fortifications and so this idea of peace, and in Hebrew the word peace and wholeness and health they're all intertwined here. And it's not just a place inside where there's no noise or trouble or hard work. It means to have peace is to be in the midst of all of that and still have a calm in the heart. And so we are establishing this place of peace, this city of refuge inside us, where not only we can go, but others can find their way there too, can find comfort in our presence, can find a sense of that calm in themselves when they do. And so the first practice I want to do, it's kind of like chapter 8, begins with a kind of a fantasy that the lover is having of like what's possible here. Where are we going on this path of love? And she comes to a kind of a vision that says, I will be that place of peace. And it means that I commit to doing the work that I have to do in order to get there. And in this time between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, it feels like, that work is up, and I am sort of more noticing the places I get triggered and taking responsibility for my inner state. And that's what we're talking about here, our inner state. Jack Kornfield has this teaching that says, if you put a spoonful of salt in a cup of water, it tastes very salty. If you put a spoonful of salt in a lake of fresh water, the taste is still pure and clear. Peace comes when our hearts are open like the sky, vast as the ocean. So the pathway is connecting ourselves and our inner state to that vastness, because the salt is always there, or the bitterness is always there, but we want to be able to create this vast ocean within us, so that when it happens, we still stay sweet. So this.
Maybe a vast Great Lake.
Great Lake.
The ocean is a little salty.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
the ocean of a Great Lake.
So we commit each day to walking the path of love, and I think that it means also becoming a refuge for others, a place of calm in the storm. But that's what we can bring to the world. So to me it's a kind of a strength, a radiance, and integrity that I cultivate inside myself, and the times that I've learned about this the most was like a sense that there wasn't anybody there to defend. Like my own defensiveness is relentless, but there are moments that I have where there's just nobody home to defend. There's just there's when I'm on the path of love. So I notice that. So let's do this practice as a kind of a dreaming practice of seeing, and sometimes when I just did the tashlich practice of throwing into the river that which the kind of patterns that I don't need anymore. And I asked the question of the people who were doing the throwing, I said, who would you be without that thought? Who would you be without that pattern? Without that pattern. And just imagining it, kind of help to inspire us to step onto the path. So this is a round.
Luckily, we have two.
We have two of us, and you can follow me or follow Rachmiel. And the idea is to put these words inside us as a dream, of where we're going. And we'll do it a couple times through first, and then we'll break into the round. Hayiti hayiti Shalom, Shalom, az hayiti ve'na, kemotzei shalom, az hayiti ve'na, kemotzei shalom. Focus on the breath and sink into that place at your core, this city of peace, a place of refuge within, and let it expand. So we get to have a kind of dream, and with ecstatic practice, kind of get a little taste of that expanded state, and anchor it in with our awareness, knowing that there's, that, and what I'm looking for in my life is to make myself untriggerable.
Yes. Take them out, please.
Or more untriggerable. Right. Just a little bit more of that kind of center place. And, this quality of equanimity, when I was learning with Sylvia Boorstein about the quality of equanimity, she says it doesn't mean that you're always kind of even, It's like, she said, it's like one of those dolls. I haven't seen one in a long time, but there's a kind of a blow-up doll that you push it and it comes right back up. And the idea is that's who we want to be. It's not that we don't get knocked around sometimes, but we can come back. We have this homing device in us. We come back to center. And I always say, I want to come back before I do too much damage. And what that takes is some some self-awareness first. Yeah. There was a couple days this week I said to Rachmel, I'm out of sorts. Yes. I'm out of sorts.
So much compassion for her. So I know what it's like.
And so I knew that my reactivity was a little bit heightened because of that place. And so it's just a thing of like, okay, I need to work with my state and have compassion on myself as well. And then, we're given the work. When we do get triggered, then we know like, oh yeah, there's some work to be done here. And so here's this practice. I love doing this practice during the time of High Holy Days, the practice of turning. And it says, it's not just the word tshuva, which is turning and return. It's also surmeira. It means like really turning away from something that is old and done. Turning away from it. Taking your energy out of the thing that sucks your energy. Turning away from that. And va-asai tovah, and taking your energy and doing something with it. One little thing that's good. And putting love into that one little good thing that you do. And then it says Bakeysh Shalom. So seeking peace, seeking wholeness. And when you get a bead on it,
you go after it. I mean,
go after it.
Nothing more important.
So yeah. So I had the little reactivity this week. It had to do with issues around money and enough money and having that kind of like it was clearly old stuff, but it's still there in me, and it still said, okay, some work I need to do around anxiety around money. Anybody else have those things? Have those things that happen? And and I think that the antidote is often presence, because some of those things are about the past or about the future, but they're really not about the present moment. And so the pathway of coming back, of leaving that, of that ra, that evil thing of the past or the future, and coming back into presence. And the way that we come back into presence is va-asai tovah. It's just doing something good in this very moment. An act of kindness, an act of generosity can bring us back to this present moment, a realization of what this present moment holds. So let's take this little journey here. And you might think about something in your life that that you might want to turn away from, something that is a bad habit of mind, a way of thinking, a way of, a pattern that you want to turn from and redirect the energy into this present moment. So we're going to be, in this way, seeking wholeness, and really making a commitment to that wholeness. And I like to kind of move to this where I'm sort of, if you feel like moving, I think you've done this before.
Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu.
Searching out there.
Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu.
Searching inside.
Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Surmeira, 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 va-asai. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom, v-rad-fayhu. Bakeysh Shalom,
So when I began this project of love at the center, of really putting, sort of, asking how do I really step onto the path of love? What does that mean to step onto the path of love? I did a walk in a nearby labyrinth, and I just asked that question: how do I step onto the path of love? And this very kind of matter-of-fact voice came into my head and said, well, can you bring love to everything you do? And it was kind of a little bit shocking to me. It was just so simple.
And yet profound.
Yes. As I told you, then I came home and with that question, and the questions are just so powerful for me. And I came home and there was this dirty pot in the sink that neither of us wanted to wash. It was like one of those times, like, well, you hope maybe somebody else will do it, and then I remembered that. I wondered that question, can I bring love to everything I do? And I washed that pot with this like amazing, something came through in my energy field. I told Rachmel about it, and then he put little sticky notes all over the house with that question,
Yes. Can you bring love
Can
to
you
everything
bring
you do?
Can you bring love to everything you do? And it was like, oh, and I think that what it does, it just brings me in. That question brings me into the present moment. And it's so interesting that there's this very famous prayer of the High Holy Days that the cantor sings that says, it starts with the word Hin'ni, Hin'ni, here I am. And it's kind of noticing that this moment is an awesome moment, and that we need to rise to the moment, whatever it is, whether it's cleaning the pot, whatever it is. In God's eyes, each moment is kind of equal importance, which is that question: can you show up fully? And I notice that when I'm triggered, I'm not really showing up so fully for this present moment. I'm kind of entangled in the past. I'm kind of worried about what else is going to happen next. And I want to say Hin'ni, Hin'ni, or Hin'ni. And it's such an important word in our tradition, because whenever God calls one of our ancestors, they say, Hin'ni, here I am. And there's two places where they don't say that. One is when in Adam in the Garden of Eden hides when he is called, sets up a little pattern for the rest of eternity of life. And then on Yom Kippur we read about Jonah, who is also called, and his first impulse is to turn around and go the other direction. Right? And we learn that that resistance is futile. Right?
Indeed.
We learn that, and it sometimes takes lifetimes to learn that. So we want to say Hin'ni, and I loved this this line that comes from the prophet Isaiah. And Isaiah is channeling God's presence. God is saying, here I am, noteh ayleha. I'm extending this like a river. I am pouring myself out like a river. And what I'm pouring out is peace, or the possibility of peace, of wholeness, of the, Rachmel calls it the stream of well-being.
Ah, yes.
The stream of well-being is always flowing, and And I think when I chant this chant, I say, I want to get in the way of that. I want to be a channel for that stream of well-being that is always flowing. And it's like getting out of my small self and being, and dedicating myself to being that flow. And allow, sort of, and what it means is clearing whatever it is that keeps that flow from flowing in me, and noticing what those things are, and then really tasting it, feeling it, allowing it. And it's like chant is like a river in itself. There's a way that our voices can extend out, and maybe our energy extending out into the Zoom field, to each other and to the world. So I'm going to practice this with you, because I think it's such an important practice to have, which is to sense that there is like a flow that may be coming in through your crown and coming out through your heart and extending out through all of your limbs, really. And the key is Hin'ni, showing up in this present moment.
Yeah.
So we say, Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, Shalom. Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, feel the river of your own voice just pouring through. Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, and open your mouth really wide. Hin'ni, especially when you have that sound, just open your mouth really wide, allow it to flow.
Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, Shalom. Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, Shalom. Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, Shalom. Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, Shalom. Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha,
So I invite you to open your eyes and find one person on a little square here that you would like to channel that flow to.
Hin'ni, noteh, ayleha, Kinahar Shalom.
And now switch to another person.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
And now someone else.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
And again, another person.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
And allow it to flow through you to another person here.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
And another person.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
And feel yourself really getting out of the way to allow that flow through.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
And one more person.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
Close your eyes. So this time you want to let it go all to your own dark crevices, all of that beautiful flow.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
Filling up with that flow.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
Do it one more time. This time filling up and then sending it out to the world.
Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom. Hin'ni noteh ayleha. Kinahar Shalom.
And feeling that flow just cleaning you out, clearing away your triggers, opening up to that higher octave, the higher vibration of wholeness that is possible. So if I hold that intention each moment or come back to it to bring love to everything that I do, I think about the Reverend Martin Luther King, who said that peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal. Peace is not merely a distant goal we seek. You know, it's not only a dream. It is the means that we arrive at that goal. It means that you know, that each moment showing up in my fullness. That's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this idea that we get from the book of Bereshit, of Genesis, about Abraham. Not, his relationship to blessing was not that he was in the world to bless everyone, but that he was a blessing. And that idea of being a blessing is like, oh, maybe there's nothing I have to actually kind of do or go out there with, but something in the quality of my own presence could be transformative, to be a blessing. And so I think of that with this quality of peace, and of being the city of peace, the place of refuge for others. I don't want to work on myself with the faith that it could make a difference. I want to work on that, and so there so I wanted to end our time together with this blessing, which is this wonderful blessing that is in our liturgy. And when I look into the history of this blessing, what I found out is that there, in the Second Temple times, the priest would do the priestly blessing over the people, and this is what the people would say in response. And so it is as ancient a blessing as the priestly blessing, and it says, "I'll meet your peace and I'll raise you one." It's like
Or two or three.
Not only peace, but goodness, grace, love, and compassion. And so it's really, and it's almost as if, like, this shalom, that in the shlemut, the wholeness, when we attain that wholeness, what Eckhart Tolle calls realizing who you are at the deepest level, when we attain that, then we just naturally, exude, overflow with goodness, grace, love, and compassion. That it's inside that wholeness, that peace, and it will pour out. So this is also a two-part round, if we remember it.
Sure. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But it is also just a celebration of that wholeness, which has all of these incredible qualities flowing out of it. Sing Shalom, tovah uvracha, chayn vachesed, rachamim.
Sim Shalom, tovah uvracha, chayn vachesed, rachamim. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim tovah uvracha, chayn vachesed, sim shalom, 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 tovah uvracha, chayn vachesed, sim shalom, tovah uvracha, chayn vachesed, sim shalom, 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 tovah uvracha, chayn vachesed, sim shalom, tovah uvracha, chayn vachesed,
So much blessing. And a blessing to be together, to kind of support each other through this passage. Next Thursday
is Yom Kippur.
Kippur, the Holy of Holies.
So,
And so we won't be getting together on Zoom, but we will
tuning
be
in.
tuning in our hearts
Yeah.
to that Holy of Holy place, and then the following week we will hopefully have our KZOOM in the sukkah.
Woo!
I'll tell you a little secret. I already put my sukkah up because I was just too excited.
Just too excited. So it's up early.
I love sukkah. I love Sukkot, and I didn't want to waste a minute. So we're already out in the sukkah.
We had Judy and Miriam in there yesterday for lunch. They came up.
So I want to thank everyone. Oh, precrastination, that's good.
I like that.
I want to thank everyone for going to the website, giving a donation. Since I'm not teaching any retreats, so this is it. This is the way I'm making a living here, and we so appreciate your support, whatever you can give. And there is, I'm hopeful that there's a retreat, an interfaith retreat that I'm part of in November on the East Coast of the United States. I have to say that for the other people
New
on
York.
different continents.
Yeah.
Check that out on my website.
The Park Avenue Synagogue has Ozzy Schwartz, who's a really quite